Hey everybody, welcome to TLDM, the Dungeons and Dragons DMing podcast with your host, Alan Linick.
And Tyler Samples. We just said each other's names there, so don't get confused.
Yeah, I'm Tyler.
I'm Alan.
We have, usually often when we record, we have extra material that we have to cut for time. Yeah. I know that's surprising given that...
Believe it or not.
Our episodes are so long.
Not all of our ramblings actually make the final cut.
Yeah, but this is one of those instances where we thought we had a kind of self-contained ramble that we thought would be fun to put out as a little boney.
A boney. Yeah. So if you guys want to get your hands on this boney, keep listening. It is an episode pretty short, I think, about making money matter in your games and how to address the concern of like, my players always seem like they're rolling in cash and I don't know how to like value a gold piece.
Yeah.
Is something that I feel like comes up a lot in games.
Yeah. So enjoy.
Ooh, let's talk about money for a second.
Okay, great.
Because this campaign right now is the first time I really feel like I've finally gotten a handle on... I feel like this is going to be a long episode, and I'm sorry, because we were literally like, we have 2 things to talk about today. It's going to be very quick.
Yeah, but we knew this would happen.
Yeah, that's why we call this what it is.
Yeah.
TLDM. But this is the first campaign where I feel like I've finally gotten a handle on how to value money properly
in the one you're running
in this Saturday campaign one. Because the party is fucking broke and everything costs money and they are like they're in a mindset of like we need cash, and that's never happened to me as a DM before, of them being like, fuck, we need to find an opportunity to make 20 gold pieces today. And that is super fun to play with.
Yeah, I agree. You guys were kind of like that when we started the Bonebeggars
the Western campaign, yeah.
Yeah, because at the start, it was also like, oh, we're broke, and it was, everything was a promise of getting, I think, 10,000 gold pieces was what led to everything happening, was getting a share of that. Yeah, I also find it really hard, because from what I've read online and stuff and what I use, that it's basically a gold piece is worth about $100, like 100 current U.S. American dollars.
But it's really hard not to just give out gold pieces.
Yeah, because dealing with silver and copper pieces feels fiddly and boring to deal with the conversion rates on all of that and stuff. It would make sense to me. See, I think truly the problem with D&D is that it makes gold pieces the standard unit of wealth, but also the most like prized. Like, instead of making silver pieces or copper pieces the standard that it translates in, and then
gold feels valuable that way.
Yeah.
Because now when you find, like, as a party, when you find silver and copper pieces in like a coffer or a treasure chest, you're like, fucking useless.
Yeah. Like, it should be like gold, and then above gold is like some form of jewel thing.
Well, there's platinum. There's plat.
Right. But I mean, nobody uses it, but it is a thing of like, the problem is the economies are hyperinflated for adventurers as opposed to for anyone else.
Yeah.
It is a thing of like, a gold piece to an adventurer is nothing, but that's like a year's salary to the
like
serfs inside
or whatever.
D&D.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. D&D magical economy just doesn't work very well at all.
Here's how it worked for this one. So I don't know if I can consider this like a tip yet, because this is literally the first time I've gotten it to work. Don't let them start with starting gold. They start with nothing. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And furthermore,
you have stuff.
Yeah, fuck you. You have stuff. And furthermore, we're going to explain in the room in this round robin why you're here and how long you've been doing this. And that will probably explain why you guys are broke.
Yeah.
Because you've been traveling and you've been, it's not a video game new save load. You've been doing stuff. Yeah. So that money is gone. You're dry. You have $0. You have 0 D in dollars, Dungeons and Dollars. And now I can, as a DM, it's far easier for me to control your intake to your expenditures.
Yeah.
Because if you have nothing, and I give you, and you find gold or earn gold, and then I present you with options to spend that money, saving or spending it is a hugely valuable and important choice. So, for example, if it costs, and this is what it costed, if it costs 20 gold pieces for every day that they take this boat out of dock and expect for this spot on the dock to be open to them when they come back, hopefully with the scroll they're looking for, they're going to be like, shit, we have to find 160 gold pieces somewhere in the course of this adventure, or we have nowhere to go and we're going to be screwed when we get back. We're going to owe a shitload of money.
Right.
Or if I'm like, great, you guys are broke, and if you want to stay in this inn, it's 4 silver pieces, and they're like, shit, we don't have 4 silver. Like 4 silver feels like nothing normally.
Right.
But if I'm like, no, you're broke and you need a place to sleep tonight and you don't got it, then they're like, damn, now we have to interact with people or prove that we're worth 4 silver pieces to the inn. We have a bard and they're going to play, he played the drums, and they were like, all right, you can stay here for free. Right. So like then those background choices become actually important too.
Right.
Of like, if someone has fucking rustic hospitality and you guys are broke, then yeah, getting to sleep in some fucking yut's house for like a night is so much more valuable than when you guys are rolling in cash and that background feature is completely meaningless.
Right.
So it was interesting to start them at 0 and then like feed them trickles and then have things cost. When there's taxes on stuff, or if you want a trade pass, if the guy you're trying to talk to is in like a wealthy part of town and you got to grease the wheels of the guards to get through the gates, money matters.
Right.
In a way where now it's like a skill challenge, where you guys have to negotiate with people or like do persuasion checks on stuff where normally you could be like, I slip them 10 gold.
Yeah. And also you have to make it a world where it's like the answer can't be like, well, I punch him in the face and walk past him.
Right.
Or make it clear that there are consequences to that too.
Yeah. Well, they actually bumbled their way into that, which is the bard that used hold person on a cashier at the apothecary.
Ooh, bad move.
And stole some stuff that he needed and booked it. And the rest of the party pretended they didn't know him.
Yeah.
And surprise, surprise, turns out pretty much everything in this town is been quartered up between the different like crime gangs.
Yeah.
So he just offended in a major way some crime leader. And there's going to be consequences. There's going to be consequences.
That's cool.
So, but making money matter has been really interesting for this one too.
Yeah. It's been interesting with the Western campaign.
We don't have money at all.
Because you guys don't have money at all. I have, once you guys, so the next bout of journey for y'all is you're going to be traveling via the Willow Green, via the Ark, the mobile castle, which also, another sidebar, I was like, what a cool idea. Like, just like a castle on tank treads, like roaming the desert, sort of like a sand crawler. And I was like, I'm going to look up for pictures of it. And then realize like Howl's Moving Castle exists and is a thing. And it looks totally different, but it made it really hard to look for Google images for Moving Castle. And I didn't think about it. So I just want to give credit where credit's due. Howl's Moving Castle. Good movie. Check it out.
Pretty cool.
But once you guys do that, I'm in my next session plan is to do basically what you said you guys did this last one, which is to do a combat free, just talky talk, say what's happened, and then get to town. And I've been thinking about it a lot, and I have like a currency strategy in mind that I don't think will end up mattering very much because you guys aren't as fiddly about financial things anyway. Like it just hasn't been part of your character motivations at all. But I want to make water be the currency. Because it's a desert. Because I also like the idea of
sort
you
of
could
dark
be
sun.
Yeah, and specifically having it be where it's literally water, so that at any point you could drink up your fortune, which I think is just sort of a fun stakes thing.
Yeah.
But I have to kind of figure out the mechanics of it a little bit more. And also, like, the problem with something like that is I have to figure out the mechanics, but also I don't really care too much about it because it's like we don't play for treasure. We don't play for loot, you know?
We're a very intrinsically motivated group.
Yeah, which I prefer to reward that anyway. So I'd rather just like give people stuff for doing cool things, and like give I would prefer to reward the group with like opportunities to do cool stuff than it is necessarily like loot because they don't care about loot. But
we like our cool loot. Don't wait, hold on now. Before we make
I'm taking away all of your loot.
No. Hold on. We like our cool loot. I would love some more cool magic items.
You would love more?
I mean, not more.
You've only used the one you got once so far.
I got it at the end of last session.
I know. So I'm saying like you gotta get it under your belt a little.
I mean, yeah, but
it was very cool though.
I just got it.
It worked pretty well.
And I got 2 bonus actions and I used them.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
Feels pretty cool.
Yeah, so I like giving out loot and stuff, but I also like the idea of a currency. It's really interesting to me.
You don't want your game to turn into Haggle Simulator
Right.
But you can use currency as a too dramatic effect is the sentence I will say. You can definitely use currency to add dramatic effect and what's the word I'm looking for? The weight of choice to the game as well.
Yeah, I realized actually what I was going to say in response to it, and then well, hopefully this won't take too long. But I do think it would be interesting. This is just me hypothesizing. I haven't done this, but to use rather than directly using currency because the D&D economy doesn't actually falls under its own weight if you try to use it in any way resembling a real economy, which, who cares anyway. But since it's abstract regardless, it'd be interesting to use sort of the reputation mechanic to basically just use, if money is just a reflection of status and it's a wealthy person gets more things than a poor person is really the only difference. You're basically gaining money to gain status and to be able to buy more stuff. But you could abstract that out to if you're a certain level of respected and a certain amount of perceived wealth would be the equivalent of a certain amount. It'd be kind of interesting to me to see if there's a way to make it almost like a party stat that you roll against to see if you can buy, if you have the prestige basically to get an item.
Interesting, because we're going to talk about a renowned mechanic I'm developing for the Eastern campaign in a future episode.
Great, I can't wait.
It's going to be fun. We might, I think, even have a special guest on board to talk about it.
Mike Merles?
Your archenemy, Mike Merles.
Oh, I can't stand that guy. He's always being look at this initiative variant I made, and I'm going to release it as an unearthed arcana because I want people to play test it and give me feedback. Everybody pay attention to me.
Yeah, very nice impression.
Yeah, thank you.